We're in Victoria for the launch of the new Kia Sportage.
It's crazy. One side of the border, it's Sportage. South of the border, it's Sportage. But it's the same car. Let's go for a ride.
Ooh, sounds good.
Wait for it. You know what this has? An automatic. No CVT. Well done. Andrea, we're in the Sportage. What's under the hood of this base model?
A 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque.
There's a hybrid as well. It has a 1.6-liter turbo hybrid powertrain system with 227 horsepower, class leading, and 258 pound-feet of torque.
The plug-in hybrid will be arriving later this year with a 13.8 kilowatt-hour battery and targeted EV range of 32 miles, 50 kilometers. There's no information at this time on pricing or fuel economy.
All right, we're in a brand new car, so you really want to know, what do you get with this? What are the key standard features?
The base trim in Canada comes with an 8-inch touchscreen, a 4.2-inch information display, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, cloth heated front seats, a manual driver's seat with height adjustment, and a manual passenger seat, keyless entry, sound reducing windshield, LED headlights and LED taillights, 17-inch wheels, and a spare tire.
Beautiful, real buttons and switches and dials. And what are we going to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a sneak peek behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below. This video is brought to you by Canada Drives. Shop online for your next used vehicle and enjoy the convenience of to-your-door delivery and the confidence of a 7-day love it or return it guarantee. Visit canadadrives.ca to learn more. So this, as we mentioned, is going to be available with a hybrid or a plug-in. Don't have that today. What we have is the base gas model, but it's good, right?
Hey, it has got a smooth ride. I feel like there's plenty of power. The cabin remains quiet when you accelerate quickly. I think overall the driving dynamics of this is very good.
I'm most impressed with the suspension. I think they did a very nice job of making it feel sportage-y. And also comfortable. So it does take bumps really nicely. It's got a nice steering feel to it. This is a vehicle, in my opinion, is going to appeal to a really broad spectrum of buyers.
Well, the steering is nice and light. You pop it in sport mode, it gets a little bit heavier, but really not too much. So you're right, Zach, it's going to appeal to a lot of people. And I'm just really impressed by the power. I thought, 187 horsepower, that maybe it wouldn't be enough. It is.
You know why, Andrea?
Why, Zach?
This, as we mentioned earlier, does not come with a continuously variable transmission. It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission, and those quick shifting happy gears are what's making this satisfying to drive. And I think the power is pretty good.
There's some good CVTs out there, one being a Honda. We have one ourselves, but it is refreshing to have an 8-speed automatic transmission. And I just think, listen to this.
Easy, Drea.
Oh, I like it.
Brakes,
I like it a lot.
Corner.
Poor Zach.
Help.
He prefers to drive. I can tell you. He's one of those people who makes a better driver than a passenger. Me, on the other hand, I'm good in both areas.
Now, Andrea, we have to talk about the way this thing looks.
Yep.
It's certainly futuristic with a traditional SUV shape. I would call some of the design elements a little busy for my taste.
Kia's design philosophy is opposites unite, so they blend futuristic design elements with rugged design elements, and you can kind of see it in this. I noticed on the front grille, the tiger nose grille is more of a floating design now.
I don't even really see it. I think they had such a great, strong element with the tiger nose grille, and it's so slim, it's almost disappeared now. They have this big sort of opening at the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't mind the look of it. Put it this way. One thing I've learned doing this for many years is that when a design initially comes out, you're like, Yeah, but then you get used to it. I'm even getting used to the BMW buck teeth.
Yeah, for sure. I really like how they've kind of simplified it. And I think that the black grille is a little bit more dominant. It spans the whole width of the front fascia. And then what about those boomerang daytime running lights?
Yeah, I think they're cool. I think that's pretty neat. And at the back, it's a traditional shape, right? It looks like an SUV. They all look similar.
Yeah.
But they've done a nice job, I think, from the back with the lights, the light bar. It looks classy from certain angles. Maybe to me, just a little busy from others.
And the rear wiper is hidden under the spoiler, just like in the Tucson. It creates a really modern look back there. I think overall the styling is good. I think some are going to like it and others not so much. You can get 17 to 19-inch wheels on this, and the X-Line trim, which they have a lower trim and a higher X-Line trim, which we're driving right now. It has black accents throughout and a more rugged design with 19-inch black wheels.
Yeah, so X-Line, they're trying to differentiate it from the rest of the lineup. By the way, X-Line is only going to be available with the straight gas engine, the one that we have here. The hybrid and the plug-in hybrid will not have that X-Line look. No. So it's something to differentiate it from its cousins.
In the US, there's an X-Pro model, which we don't get in Canada. It may come one day. It has an even more rugged look to it with 17-inch wheels and all-terrain tires. It doesn't have any more capability than any of the trims that are being offered in Canada.
All right, now we get to the inside. We should probably say right off the top, maybe you don't know this and are not aware that this is based on the same platform as the Hyundai Tucson.
Yes.
So each company, Hyundai and Kia, are given the same platform, engines, transmissions, and electronics, and they say, go away and make your own version of the car. And this is what Kia came up with, and I think I like the interior of this better, because look at that beautiful big pano screen.
Yes, it is really a lovely touch in here. It has a 12.3-inch touchscreen and a 12.3-inch digital driver display.
Oh, no, not on all of them, Andrea.
No.
No. The digital driver in Canada is only on this top trim.
In the US, it's a different story. The base trim comes with the 12.3-inch digital driver display. Aren't you lucky?
Well, what's interesting is I took some video, and here it is, of the instrument cluster that we get in Canada. When we first saw the picture of it, I thought it looked kind of cheesy. It's a 4.2-inch digital screen, and it has these other digital elements on either side, and they actually look not bad, and it's behind the same panel of glass. It looks good.
And I think because it's digital, it looks okay. It blends in nicely.
So we're going to get into more about the interior in just a moment in Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
This is bigger than the outgoing model. In fact, it's 7 inches longer, half an inch wider and taller, and the wheelbase is 3.4 inches longer. You can feel it in here for sure.
And you can see me getting in the back seat. There is a lot of room back there. Plenty of leg room and headroom. The rear seats recline, oh so comfortable.
This has class-leading second row legroom at 41.3 inches, which is equal to the Hyundai Tucson.
And a huge cargo area as well. As Andrew mentioned, this vehicle has grown a lot in size, and you benefit around the back.
It's got best-in-class cargo space behind the second row at 39.6 cubic feet.
So we are in the top trim. I'm guessing this is not the best value trim.
It is not. It's the EX trim, and that comes with a panoramic sunroof, a power driver's seat, wireless charger, a heated steering wheel, and the 12.3-inch touchscreen, and that is just over $35,500.
But it doesn't come with a power tailgate. How much more to get that?
You can move up to the EX Premium trim to get that for a couple $1,000s Canadian more.
What's interesting is the Korean cousin, the Tucson, it's not even offered on the gas model with a power liftgate. You have to get the plug-in or the hybrid, where you can get it in this. But what's interesting, the RAV4, the XLE trim, right, is less expensive than this, and it does come with that. So there you go.
In the US, the best value trim is the SX trim. For just under $31,500, you get everything that we get in our Canadian EX trim minus the heated steering wheel. It is available in a package, but what you do do get that we don't get in Canada until our top trim is the Harman Kardon sound system. So that's kind of a nice treat. In Canada, on that top trim, you do get ventilated front seats and heated rear seats. And I might add that the heated steering wheel is heated all the way through. Thank you, Kia.
All right, let's get into those questions.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is Kia expecting long wait times for the hybrid and PHEV versions? I'm eyeing these as my next vehicle when the lease for my Forte is up. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Well, that kind of is the question everybody wants to know.
Well, it's interesting that this person wants to stay in the Kia family, which is encouraging. Obviously, you had a good ownership experience. Listen, anything that saves money on fuel right now, there's going to be a wait for it. I think the best advice, Andrea, is if you like this, you like the idea of a hybrid or a plug-in, order one.
The hybrids are arriving now at dealerships, and the plug-in hybrids will be arriving sometime in the summer. Like we said, with the chip shortage, there is not much inventory in general for all brands. So if you're interested, head to the dealership and get that order in.
Quick little anecdote. The Canadian gasoline cars, the one we're sitting in here, come from Korea. The ones in the United States come from the Georgia facility. They're made in the United States. The hybrid and the plug-ins, all of them will be coming from Korea.
Looks nice. Hopefully the interior will be nice as well, with not too much shiny black plastic. That's Zach's line, isn't it?
Yeah.
And has real knobs and switches. Well, let me start because I already know what Zach is going to say. Not too much shiny black plastic in here or high gloss piano black. There's a little bit at the center console and also on the armrest, but we've got some beautiful wood trim in here. We've got the X-Line limited trim, and I think there's a good balance of mixed materials in here, but I'm not sure if the lower trims get more of the piano black.
Yeah, I would suspect it's not going to look as good as this. This is the best you can get. Now to the knobs and switches. I will take this product over many competitors because it has some real tactile switches and buttons.
Yeah.
For example, the heated and ventilated seats, the heated steering wheel, they're right there in the center console. You just go and you're in, they're done. You have a traditional shifter. You've got a real dial control here for the drive modes. And then the pièce de résistance, Andrea, is the HVAC/radio controller in the dashboard. Toggles back and forth between the HVAC and then your radio controls and all the other hotkeys that you can use. We saw this in the EV6, and it's showing up here as well.
I think it's a brilliant idea by Kia. It doesn't take up a lot of space, keeps the interior looking very clean and modern.
It's a really nice combination between traditional, suits grumpy old me, and then modern and functional and trendy, which a lot of young people will like.
Best of both worlds. We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's so easy to find.
All you do is go to the search bar in YouTube and type in Motormouth, the name of the channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, it's Kia. Then all of our videos, reviews, and comparisons show up. It's that easy.
We live in central Canada where winters are -30 for weeks, if not months. This vehicle looks like it can handle our winters, but would love your thoughts and recommendations for choosing the Sportage Hybrid or PHEV. The thing about the plug-in hybrid powertrain on the Tucson, we have not driven it on the Sportage yet, but it is the same. And when you are in very cold temperatures, the gas engine comes on quite a bit to warm up the cabin. And even when you accelerate hard, you hear that gas engine coming on.
Now, one of the big differences between these products from the Korean cousins and, say, Toyota with the RAV4 Prime is these products are not equipped with a heat pump, right? So you're using the gasoline engine to create heat at -30 inside the cabin. That's pretty important, right?
Yeah.
Where at Toyota, they have a heat pump which allows it to stay on electricity longer. So I think for someone who lives in a cold area like that, if you want to save some fuel throughout the whole year, you would certainly save more in the summer. In the winter, it's not going to be as much.
I would recommend the hybrid for people who are living in very cold climates like yourself. I think that would be a better option.
But same thing. In the winter, the gas engine's going to come on more to heat the cabin, but you'll save more fuel in the summer. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Is this better than its sibling, the Tucson? What are the pluses and minuses of this compared to the Tucson? Do any of them beat the RAV4.
Well, when you're comparing the Tucson to this, you have to know that mechanically they are identical.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the same results. It comes down to packaging and how they put it together. And I'm kind of in the Kia camp when it comes to the interior design. I think this is more to my taste.
Yeah, I think looks are subjective. The interiors are quite different. So it really comes down to what you like and what you don't like. I find that this interior is more practical than the Tucson. I like that you can toggle back and forth between the HVAC controls and the infotainment system with the touch of a button. And I think Zach would agree with me. We both prefer a traditional shifter, which the Sportage has, and the Tucson has the buttons. When it comes to pricing, this Sportage is actually coming in less than the Tucson by a little bit, as well as the RAV4. Zach, I would say that the Sportage is quieter than the RAV4 as well.
That's not hard to do. I don't know. The thing about the RAV has a less expensive hybrid than both of those companies, right? Hyundai and Kia. So that's a major advantage. Check mark for Toyota.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's just great that we have so much competition, or all three of these companies are producing gas, electric, and plug-ins.
Yeah.
It's great to have options. Well, we've touched on some of the competition, but let's get into it. What other vehicles can you buy in this category?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Hyundai Tucson with the same powertrain, a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with 187 horsepower and an all-wheel drive starting price of just over $31,500.
The Toyota RAV4, also with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, 203 horsepower, and an all-wheel drive starting price of just over $30,500.
The Honda CR-V has a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 190 horsepower and an all-wheel drive starting price of just over $33,500.
Here's our used car alternative from CanadaDrives.ca. We chose a 2020 Nissan Rogue SV with just 15,000 kilometers on the clock for $34,590. Click on the tab or the link in the description below to find more vehicles in this category from CanadaDrives.ca.
So there are 4 crossovers for you to consider.
So we're going to do our vital stats. We're going to get into fuel economy, but we got some information today, the pricing for the hybrid. So let's get into it.
Let's start with pricing. The base trim in Canada, the front-wheel drive model, starts at just over $28,000. And the all-wheel drive model is just over $30,000. The top trim we're test driving, the X-Line Limited, is just under $41,000. In the U.S., front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options are available on all trims except for the X-Line and X-Pro trims. They are standard all-wheel drive. The base front-wheel drive model starts at just under $26,000 U.S., and the top X-Pro Prestige is just under $37,000 US. Here's the pricing for the hybrid. The base trim in Canada is just under $36,000, and the base trim in the US is just over $27,000.
Here's the fuel economy. 10.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.5 on the highway. That's 23 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. The hybrid fuel economy is 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 6.3 on the highway. That's 38 miles per gallon in the city, 37 on the highway. Ground clearance for all-wheel drive models is 8.3 inches. For front-wheel drive models, 7.1 inches. The warranty is 5 years, 100,000 kilometers, or 60,000 miles. Lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
I really like the way that this handles.
I love the interior.
What I'd like to see in here is wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on the larger touchscreen. It's only available on the smaller one.
And only having a power tailgate start at $37,000, it should be available on cheaper trims.
Sporty, spacious, you know this is going to be a great seller for Kia.
Totally impressed. Kia continuing to press forward with so much innovation. Hybrid, gas, plug-in, they got it all.
This video is brought to you by Canada Drives. Shop online for your next used vehicle and enjoy the convenience of to-your-door delivery and the confidence of a 7-day love it or return it guarantee. Visit CanadaDrives.ca to learn more.